Good evening. This is 4040. During the course of the years, 4040 has presented many interesting stories about many interesting people. Tonight, we have something special, a special story about a special lady. Hi there, groovy guys and groovy girls. You got that big date tonight, but got a zit right in the middle of your forehead? You know, the big juicy kind that looks like a third eye? Hey, if they've been calling you Cyclops, don't get uptight. Get new, easy off, medicated hickey pimple pads by Brillo. Hey, it doesn't work on the surface here, kids. It gets down there and rips them zits out by the roots. And then, for those big moon-sized craters you're going to have in your head, get new, medicated, plastic filler. Hey! Comes complete with a putty knife, flesh tone paint, and sandpaper for the rough spots. So if you got that big date tonight and got zits all over your face, be sure to get medicated hickey pimple pad. Good evening. I'm Dan Lipinski.
And I'm Debbie Lipinski.
And tonight's 4040 is a real special treat. It's about a beautiful woman whose success story started at sea. A young pregnant woman named Magdalena boarded a ship in Poland, bound and determined to meet her husband in the Americas. With crowded conditions, less than sanitary or sterile medical care, somewhere in the middle of the Atlantic, aboard the USS Bremen, her baby is born.
When the Bremen docked in New York, Magdalena met her husband Alex and presented him with a beautiful baby girl. Alex showed little emotion. With two little girls back home in Poland, he had hoped for a baby boy. They named this baby Mary.
And Mary is our story for tonight, and we will return after these.
Introducing the new, amazing Luciano ladder. This high-grade tempered aluminum ladder is 12 feet of easy-to-operate and easy-to-handle power. Watch how this boy, all by himself, amazing Luciano ladder. Be sure to order your ladder today. Just send $5 to Dan Lipinski, Post Office.
4040 brings you back to our feature story, Mary. After settling in the United States, Alex, Magdalena, and young Mary found that the streets of America were not paved in gold. Soon, Mary had twin brothers and sisters, and not much later a third baby entered their household. Mary found life difficult and uneasy at a tender age. She assumed the responsibilities of caring for the younger children.
Mary had to quit school after the 3rd grade to take full charge of her brothers and sisters and to help on the farm. Her reading and writing were limited, but as she was growing up, she did her best to teach herself.
4040 came by this next story from one of Mary's daughters. While watching the kids one afternoon, Mary and the kids were playing games. They would get up in the loft of the barn, jump out the window, and land in a mound of hay. All afternoon the kids played. Then a terrible thing happened. When Mary took her turn and jumped out of the window, when she landed on the mound of hay, there was a pitchfork there. And to this day, Mary only has one lung.
Once when visitors came to call, they brought their doll. This little girl cradled a lovely doll in her arms. Mary had never seen a doll before. Mary fell in love with this beautiful little doll. When the visitors were ready to leave, the doll was nowhere to be found. They looked everywhere. Finally, Mary's father, in a voice that Mary understood quite well, said, "Bring me the doll and bring it now." Mary went to her hiding place and brought the doll to the little girl. The visitors left, and Mary was severely punished. To this day, Mary's hobby is collecting dolls.
When childhood was over, Mary made up her mind to become a citizen of the United States. With little schooling and speaking only Polish at home, she struggled with the preamble to the Constitution. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union. Mary could hardly pronounce the words which she now had to memorize. But she told herself, and she kept telling herself over and over, I can do it. I will do it. And one of the greatest moments of Mary's life was the day that she became a United States citizen. And she did it all by herself.
We will now take you to our roving reporter, who will take you back to some of the places where Mary lived and worked.
Hey, Dad. Dad.
This is Leland Electric, where Mary used to work. They've moved since then. But she wound stators, and she worked there for 21 years.
Mom, now this is a Sunday afternoon, and of course, let me scan around here, and we can look that everything is dead. There's no people around. But at one time, especially at quitting time or at when they started to work, boy, the action around here was something else. Especially
Yes.
during the war years, they were working 3 shifts, and it was damn hard work, and they all put in a lot. There's, look there, there's Congress Lanes. Now
Yeah.
that's where Mary used to stop in sometimes in the evening when she got a little lonely and had a few beers. Certainly has changed. I think when Mary was here, it was all glass windows. You remember that, Mom?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Well, just like anything else, time takes its toll on everything and everybody. Let's go on up the street. Now there's 21 Light Street. That was one of the houses that Mary owned. There's the house that Mary lived in, worked hard on. It's a shame. She had sold it and moved to Florida. And believe me, when Mary lived here, it looked nothing like this. There's the Eagles. There's the Eagles. Mary used to come down here occasionally and have a few beers. As a matter of fact, this is where she met a very good friend and is still living very happily with her gentleman friend in Florida.
Hey, this is the Our Lady of the Rosary Church where Mary came on Sundays, and 2 of her daughters got married in this church. And the pastor at that time was Father Taskey. I don't know who it is today.
Now, this is a Sunday afternoon, and people are coming, going. Apparently it's time for Mass. So this is still a very busy place in the old neighborhood that Mary lived in. I thought it might be interesting to take a trip down here to the Polish Club. The Polish Club is where Mary spent some times, some very good times. With a little reflection, I bet she could tell you about some of the dances she attended to. She could tell you about some wedding receptions. She could tell you about some New Year's Eve parties. And these are some of the lighter moments in a woman's life that worked just about 80% of it. But the 20% that was pleasure, the 20% she had to herself, is she spent in places like these with very good friends and had a wonderful time, a well-deserved, I might add, wonderful good time. My name's Hank. I'm one of your roving reporters, one of the roving reporters for 4040. Rosemary and I have just taken you around and shown you some of the highlights of the places that Mary frequented. She's such a spectacular lady that it would have been impossible to cover all the exciting things that happened in her life. But we thought we would take and show you some of the few that we felt were more significant. Mary's a spectacular lady, and 4040 was exceptional.
Hi, Mom. Come on over, Hank. Let's talk to Mom.
Okay. Hi. Well, I hope you like our little production. It took us a little bit of time, but we all agree that you're more than worth it. I guess we kind of wanted to do something for you to show you that we do think of you often and to prove to you that we love you very damn much. All of us. Mom?
Well, I got to tell you first that we just got home from Dayton. We went down to see Dan and Debbie to do their part, which I know you'll agree they were excellent, just excellent. And of course it took practice, and we cut a lot of things, accidents happened that because we aren't professionals and we don't know how to do it, but we did the best we could. But I think the important things that were mentioned got on the film. One other thing I want to tell you, we were going to do a better job on Mike Street. We were going down to each and every one of your houses and tell about the people that live there, like Florence and Celia and Joe and Jim and Grandma and Bob Skinner, and we're going to mention everybody.
Well, we talked about that quite a bit. And when Rosemary was writing the script for this thing, I told her that we didn't want to write about other people. What we wanted was a story about you and not other people.
Well,
And, so we didn't mention a lot of people because of that reason. We wanted to focus on you, Mary.
and another thing I wanted to tell you, really the street is just not too safe, Mom. And I was just a little bit leery of walking down the street with a camera. So we decided that Hank took a picture. It was pretty far away, and you really couldn't see it. But I hope you got the idea and enjoyed everything we tried to do.
They've got, for your information, they've got a high brick wall in front of the place, about 8 foot high. And then on the side, along the alley, they got an 8 or 9 foot wooden fence it just looks terrible. Grandma, I don't know whether you've seen it lately or have you seen this, but you'd never recognize the home that you worked so damn hard on for everybody. But then I guess that when these people bought it, they fixed it up the way they liked it. This is, I think, one of the things we learned from doing this ourselves was the fact that peoples change and places change. We drove around some other places and
They were torn down. They
Yeah.
weren't there. It's unreal.
it just, I guess it's just kind of shocked when you go back after so many years, and you can't believe that the place that you were born, raised, laughed, played could change so much. Or maybe is it that we changed so much?
I don't know, but anyway, we enjoyed doing it. It took a little bit of time. We went to Ben and Deb's. We had some appointments early Saturday morning, and then we went to Dan and Deb's after that, and got there about, well, I guess 2 o'clock,
Yeah.
I guess. And then from there we went to Dayton. But anyway, I hope you're pleased, and we thought.
Oh, excuse me just a minute. I've got to go. Mom, you go ahead and talk to your mother. And Grandma, we'll be talking to you later.
Anyway, Mother, I just thought that you would like to have some of the memories that you've gone through on tape. And that's why we did this. And we love you very much, the both of you. Bye-bye.
Yay, Mary. Yay, Mom.